Today I thought that in the interims of when I'm trying to get certain tasks working and updates in the Among Us remake, I thought, why not teach you guys how to make your own game in the meantime? So yes, I am going to be doing the generic Unity tutorials, but is it generic though? No, I'm going to actually teach you stuff that you guys want to learn. You let me know anything you want, I will make a specific video on it. But I will just be going in order, like from now, if I don't hear anything. But if one of you guys has suggestions, then I will make that video for you. But let's get into it. First things first, create a new project, select 3D, call it whatever you want, choose the directory to save it, and then hit create. Now that we're in Unity, it's best to switch the free aspect setting in the game tab to the resolution or aspect ratio that you want your game to be, as this will help you see how the final game will look. Once you've done that, we want to create a terrain for the player to navigate, so to do this, right-click under the hierarchy, go down to 3D Object and hit Terrain. Change the size of the terrain by clicking on the terrain we created, clicking the gear icon of the terrain in the inspector, scroll down until you see the terrain width and length, and then changing them to whatever you want. I'm going to change mine to 100 by 100. For the player, we need to create another 3D object in the hierarchy, but for this we're going to use a cube for our placeholder character. Give the character some physics by clicking the cube, going over to the inspector and click Add Component and search for Rigid Body. Now if we hit play, you'll see that the cube now falls and lands on the terrain. Awesome! Time to add some code. But first, navigate to the toolbar, hit Edit, Preferences, External Tools, and set your external script editor to Visual Studio. This will allow Visual Studio to help autofill your code when typing it out. In your Assets folder, create a new folder and name it Scripts, just to make organization easier. Inside the new Scripts folder, create a new C# script and call it whatever you want with no spaces. I'm calling mine Player Movement. Make sure that you name your script immediately before clicking away, otherwise it won't work without renaming the class within the code. Double-click the file and it'll open up in Visual Studio. Now, for you people who are new to coding, let me just give you a quick rundown of what's included in the file that we just created. Here we have the class that's been created, which is the same as what we named the script earlier. Void start is a function that will execute any code within it as soon as the script is called upon, and void update is a function that will execute any code within it every frame. Okay, so first thing we need to create is 3 float variables, the x-axis, the z-axis, and the player's speed. We're going to enter this above the start function, and it's as simple as typing float x and float z. For the player speed, we want to adjust this later, and a good way to enter this while keeping the variable private is using serialize field in square brackets. Now we need to pre-assign our speed, so we type in float, player speed equals 10f. I forgot to enter the f here, but it's important that when we define a float that we enter f after the variable. If we save that and jump back into Unity, click the cube and drag in our script, you'll see that the player speed is editable within the Unity inspector. However, as it's a serialized field, it remains a private variable and cannot be accidentally affected by other scripts. Back to our code, within the update function, we're going to type x equals input.getAxis, open brackets, horizontal. This means that every frame it's going to change the x value based on whether we are registering a left or right input. Copy that line of code and now change the x to a z and horizontal to vertical. Now to convert these variables as position data, we need to create a vector3 variable and we'll call it movement. A vector3 is a data type that stores x, y, and z coordinates. Now the movement's value will be new vector3, open brackets, x, 0, z, close brackets. Next, we'll use this to make the player face whichever direction we're moving, so we'll create an if statement by typing if, open brackets, x, exclamation mark equals 0, close brackets, and this means that if x does not equal 0, we're going to transform.rotation equals quaternion.lookRotation, open brackets, movement value that we created earlier. Now copy and paste this, but change the x to a z and the if to an else if. For the final line of code, we write transform.translate, open brackets, movement multiplied by player speed multiplied by time dot delta time, and then a comma, space dot world. Save and switch back to Unity, and when you hit play, you can now control your character with WASD, the arrow keys, and even a USB controller. I'll add the code as a pinned comment in the comment section for any of you that want to take a look at it by yourselves. I hope this video has helped, and if it did, I hope you consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments if you have anything that you want covered in a future video, and I will get to it. So, see you guys in the next video.